Hey, welcome to another episode of Sipping with Simone. Sorry for the hiatus. There's been a lot to do, but super eager for this video. The first thing I wanted to talk about, well, there's many things I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about the NRA and the students protesting. I also want to talk about this whole issue with unsolicited advice and why fat people don't go to the gym. First, the NRA. I'll even put down my tea. I would like to give a round of an applause to the students who are out there protesting for their rights to be safe and to be educated in a safe environment. I think it's really brave on their part. I think it's unfortunate that they have to leave school and suffer a detriment to their own education in order for people to actually pay attention to this whole thing. But one thing that has gotten on my nerves, and let me tell you, a lot of things get on my nerves. Like, I'm trying, I would like to see Jesus one day. But sometimes when I see some comments on social media, I'm not sure if that will be possible, because I feel like somebody needs to get a smack upside the head. So I've been seeing things on social media going around saying stuff like, instead of walking out, or rather don't walk out, walk up. You know, that many of these school shooters were marginalized people, were students who were, isolated and nobody wanted to be their friend. And so instead of walking out, walk up to the student who is sitting by themselves at the lunch counter. Walk up to the student who doesn't have any friends, Walk up to your teachers and ask how you can support, blah, 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 re-tay-tay. And I'm reading this and I'm like, are you guys for real? Like, are you seriously for real? In the sense of, you are shifting the blame of this whole debate on gun control. And yes, it's about gun control. From the perpetrator to the victim. Why does this always happen? Why does this always happen? When something happens, we always blame the victim and what they could have done. And we really focus all of our attention on the person who actually did the wrongdoing. To say, the children could have befriended this young man. The children, these kids could have invited him over. These kids could have been, more alert. They should have reported him, blah, 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 shifts the blame. And everybody wants to talk about every other little thing. Everybody wants to talk about mental health. All of a sudden, we want to talk about mental health. So everybody wants to talk about mental health. Everybody wants to talk about, he was isolated. But nobody wants to talk about gun control. And nobody wants to talk about white supremacy and how a lot of these killers had white supremacist attitudes. Nobody wants to talk about those things because those things make us feel uncomfortable. And I say that it is about gun control because I live in Canada and these things don't really happen here. Neither do they really happen in Japan or Australia. But there's something about the United States and their laws around rifles that seem to allow these things to happen. Like, one of these things are not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. And when you look at other industrialized nations and you look at the United States, and with all of their shootings, people just basically get shot up like, what, once a month over there, it would seem, from an international perspective. I'd like to think that there must be something different in that country that is happening that does not happen in other industrialized countries. But hey, that's my 2 cents. All I wanted to say on that was I support those students who are going out and are fighting and who are protesting. That's brave of you. You should be applauded. And I hope, it is my sincerest hope, even though I don't have a vested, or rather a direct interest in this. I don't have children in the United States. I don't live in the United States. It hurts me and touches me in the sense that nobody should go to school and wonder if they're going to die. And nobody should go to school and be scared about being shot up or not making it home. Or, it's one thing to do armed intruder drills. It's one thing to do lockdowns, but it's another thing when you know that it's like there's a really good chance of it happening to you. So my applaud to you. And Shame on those people who are trying to shift the blame and blame everything and every other thing except the actual murderer and perpetrator. Yeah, no. These things get on my nerves. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I saw on Facebook, so I follow somebody called the Running Fat Chef, I believe. Yeah. And she posted a video from another friend of hers. And that video from that friend talked about, and I'll post it below. I'll post it below in the comments. And that video from that friend talked about how this is why fat people don't go to the gym. The video from that friend basically, it was a live video, and it just shared her experience of having gone to the gym. She was in the gym, and apparently some lady walked up to her. And so this lady in question, so the lady who did the video, she is a plus size person. Another lady walked up to her. I was like, you know what? Keep going, keep working out. You'll lose the weight soon. And so this lady who was doing the video was like, okay. And then this lady kept on talking about how, I think you might need a personal trainer. And the other lady was like, who are you? And this lady just kept on going on and on about weight and asking her about her health history and how heavy did she used to be. And, you know, the lady who was doing the video said, you know, yeah, I used to be 400 pounds. I've lost all this weight all by myself. You know, kind of insinuating, you know, I'm good, go mind your business. But this lady kept on, you know, being persistent and talking and pressing. And it really... Well, there's two things there. The first thing is that video talked about why fat people don't like going to the gym. And that's always why, as a group fitness instructor, I try to preach body positivity in all of my classes, because I know that the gym could be an antagonistic, hostile space for people who have issues with their body, especially when it comes to body size. And the gym is not a place, has not historically been a place for body diversity. Right? So there's that. So definitely that is the reason why people do not go to the gym. People who are of size. However, I'd also like to add that this video underscores my gripe with unsolicited advice. I hate unsolicited advice. I don't know why some people just walk up to some other people unannounced, unasked, and just want to dole out advice. It's never, I don't understand. I don't understand. I feel like some people need to just leave people alone and just let people live. Now, I know there are exceptions to everything, and definitely, this has never happened to me at the gym, but definitely if I looked like I was struggling with a squat rack or another apparatus in the gym, and somebody walked up to me and they're like, well, you need to spread your feet a little wider, you know, I would actually find that helpful. So there's a fine line in the giving us unsolicited advice. But the thing for me is, majority of the time, unsolicited advice is not helpful. And I have learned to be wary of advice that I did not pay for. Let me explain. When I go to the doctor, I will take my doctor's advice because he's educated, he knows my health history, and I paid for it. This advice comes at a cost through my taxpayer dollars. When I go to my psychologist, if I go to my naturopath, I paid for it. You know, so I know this advice is personalized and individual to me, and there's reason to believe that they did their due diligence in giving me this advice. If I ask even my pastor for advice, I may not pay my pastor directly, but we tithe, you know. I've realized any good advice I've ever received has always come to me at a cost. So anytime anybody gives me free advice that I've never asked for, I have realized and I know to be like, why are you giving me this advice? It reminds me of a time when I wrote a blog post about BMI and how BMI is BS. And I'll post that blog post below. And so I was just telling my story about, you know, how my doctor had told me that I am morbidly obese, even though, you know, I carry a lot of muscle mass and I'm actually quite muscular for my height and as a woman. So he's like, you're morbidly obese, even though to the regular person's eye, I'm not obese. Anyways, I digress. So it's talking about how BMI is problematic in terms of ascertaining somebody's health, and that it doesn't take into account muscle mass, doesn't take into account individuals, but rather is more of a, it's better in terms of public health analysis as opposed to personal health analysis. So just sharing my story, and then somebody commented underneath to be like, you know, hey Simone, I'm glad you're so confident, but we should try to watch what we eat. Have you ever tried removing sugars from your diet? Did I ask for your advice? Like, I read that comment and it was just like, where in this post did I ask for your advice? And that's the thing, especially when it comes to personal things like somebody's personal life, their love life, my health, my weight, anything that is personal. Don't come at me sideways with advice if you don't know me, if I never asked for it. Don't ask me about, have you tried online, like, don't ask, yeah, like, have you tried online dating, have you done this, have you, you know, taken this special potion and gone up to Mount Kilimanjaro. And no, I never asked for your advice, so don't give it. And I think it's a case-by-case basis and a person-by-person basis. But I'm the kind of person that if I want advice, I will ask for it. And if you just give me advice, that is an affront to my autonomy and agency. You're not giving me an opportunity to recognize my needs and ask for advice. So that's my issue. So all I have to say is, guys, mind your own business. Mind your own business. Please do not, you know, make me disrupt my salvation. I'm really trying to make it to heaven. But some of y'all out there, man, with your mouths and your advice, whew, getting on my last damn nerves. So that's all I had to say for this episode of Sipping with Simone. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to comment below. If you have any ideas for another vlog and something you'd like me to talk about, comment below. And make sure you subscribe and be ready for hopefully more frequent videos in the next coming weeks. Bye. Stop giving people random advice.